So a couple days ago on this channel, I covered a drama involving NerdCity's newest video on Leigh Leigh pawns, and since then the drama has escalated by quite a bit, to the point where NerdCity actually had to address some of it on a live stream. But before I show you that live stream, first let's take a look at some Twitter criticisms that were levied against NerdCity that I didn't have a chance to talk about in the last video on this topic. The first one comes from Willy Mack Show, who says, "NerdCity is like those Christian moms who take rap music literally."
YouTube promoted Leigh Leigh's new high school video titled Hot Substitute Teacher on the trending page, right below Squishy Makeovers in the top 10. Much unlike Squishy Makeovers, Leigh Leigh's video is a softcore porn about statutory rape.
He then follows it up by saying, "Yes, I am making my own opinion on my own social medias. If you think Leigh Leigh is pro-rape videos because she didn't wear a bra, then that's on you. He's a good guy, but I think his critique here is a joke." NerdCity then responds to him by saying, "What do you call a high schooler girl having sex with their adult male teacher, Willy? What is the purpose of 1 minute of Leigh Leigh bouncing her tits without a bra? Put those two themes into a sentence like a cool uncle would instead." Willy then responds, "It's a skit about how sometimes you get a hot substitute in high school. It's a joke. You are basically saying video games with guns make you violent, or rap music makes you a womanizer. I don't know. Just feels like a lack of nuance or common sense."
Adult teachers who prey on their underage students are a horrific concern for parents, not a scenario they would ever want to normalize for their preteen kids. The entire fantasy is incredibly taboo.
Again, just how I see it. You a homie. But I don't think it's a very honest or legit criticism of Leigh Leigh. I'm sure she's not pro-statutory rape. NerdCity responds, "Before Leigh Leigh wisely deleted the video, many of the top voted comments were things like, 'Is this porn? This feels like the start of a porn. Shame you can't let those kids know they were being dishonest.' Willy then responds, 'If you frame your video around YouTube comments, then Turkey Tom looks like D'Angelo Wallace was right.' And for those of you who are wondering why I'm saying Turkey Tom when it clearly says Zapdie, that is actually the Twitter @ of the YouTuber Turkey Tom. If you want to learn more about the drama that happened between D'Angelo Wallace and him, I have a video about it that you can click in the cards up above." Kelb responds to Willy by saying, "I don't know, man. There's literally a scene of underage high school girls shaking their tits and twerking in a contest for their teacher. If she was an edgy content creator, it's fine, but her target demographic is young school kids. It's fucking weird." Willy then responds, "Lol, and there are high school movies like American Pie where underage kids have sex. It's not real. They are not actually underage." Alex Silverstein then replies, "Lol, American Pie is rated R. How are you missing this important detail? Leigh Leigh's content is rated G. There aren't 17-year-olds watching Leigh Leigh either. Her fanbase must cap at middle school." Willy then responded, "Leigh Leigh's content is PG, same as The Simpsons." Alex then responds, "Leigh Leigh's sketch and The Simpsons Teacher Crush episode are not even comparable. Have you seen that episode? Leigh Leigh's version is so much more fucked up." Willy then responded, "Not what I'm saying. Looks like you gotta wait for my vid." Unwanted Commentary then responds, "I think the point is that children don't know any better. Also, unlike violent video games, where the parents have probably taught the kid that you shouldn't kill people in real life, nobody is telling the kid that it is not okay to lust over a teacher, or vice versa." Willy then responds, "What about in TV commercials? Or how women look in magazines or in movies? What music on the radio is about? All of that is more influential than Leigh Leigh. Most girls I know that have image issues blame Disney movies. I just don't think it's fair to pin that on Leigh Leigh." Unwanted Commentary then responds, "Kids have a deeper connection with an influencer who they are watching all the time and relate to. Also, I agree with you that other things in society also affect young girls negatively. Also, most girls you know were probably developing before influencers like Leigh Leigh existed." Willy then responds, "Lol, thanks doctor." Ice Your Pimp Hand responds to Willy by saying, "I believe this was a larger point that YouTube isn't applying their child-friendly rules consistently. Context? Who needs it?" Willy then replies, "I literally showed video clips. Context is pretty clear." Pimp then replies, "You don't believe his larger point was directed towards the YouTube age restriction policy?" Willy then responds, "No, clearly isn't when half the video is about Leigh Leigh's book and Instagram. This is a straight up Leigh Leigh exposed video." Willy Mack Show then quote tweets his original tweet and adds on, "Everyone in this thread saying I'm leaving out context. Meanwhile, I'm the only person who actually watched Leigh Leigh's skit. Leigh Leigh's skit is a daydream. The teacher never kisses the kids or makes them twerk. If anyone took something out of context, it's Nerd, not me," laughing my ass off. So after seeing this tweet, I decided to check out Leigh Leigh's video in full for myself to actually see the context of the video. And I've gotta say, I actually kind of agree with Willy here. The whole premise of the skit is that Leigh Leigh's mom got a new boyfriend that Leigh Leigh hadn't met yet, and before she meets this person, she sees that she gets an attractive substitute teacher. She and the other girls then have a contest to see who can get kissed on the cheek by this teacher first. All the wildly inappropriate scenes are very clearly shown as daydreams within the skit, with the teacher during the non-daydream segment never having even remotely any sexual interaction with any of the students whatsoever. At the end of the skit, it's then revealed that Leigh Leigh's mom's new boyfriend is actually the teacher. Here's a clip of the skit.
Okay, cool. I've heard so much about you, and I just want to come over and introduce myself, and may I?
You may.
Yeah, come here.
I won. You kissed me. I won.
Won what?
It's okay. It's a joke.
Okay, but we're practically family now, so.
What?
I'm dating your mom. It's been going so great.
You're the guy. He's the guy.
It's been a blast. Are you okay? What's going on? Are you okay?
It was a dream. Sorry, I just have these little dreams in my head. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, totally understandable.
Yeah. Oh, there's my mom.
Hey, sexy!
Hi, honey!
Are you ready?
No!
Leigh Leigh's video is a softcore porn about statutory rape. Adult teachers who prey on their underage students are a horrific concern for parents, not a scenario they would ever want to normalize for their preteen kids. The entire fantasy is incredibly taboo.
So yes, I do believe that NerdCity was mischaracterizing Leigh Leigh Pawn's video. Whether it's appropriate for kids or not, that's up to you to decide, but this is far from a video that promotes statutory rape or sexual relations between a teacher and a minor, period. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to the next criticism of NerdCity. But to do that, we'll actually have to go over to YouTube. Now there's a live stream show called Tommy C's Shot from the Point, which Nicholas DeOrio happens to be a co-host on, and because of that, a lot of his criticisms that we covered in the NerdCity vs Nick DeOrio video were also reiterated on this live stream. So NerdCity decided to leave a comment responding to some of the criticism. He says, Leigh Leigh says she makes her content for kids, but hardly any of it is suitable. Now that COPPA is being enforced due to complaints filed in the state of New York about data collection and toy channels, she's not following the standards for labeling her channel properly. Time for her to choose one of these paths. 1. Pivot into adult comedy and being a full-time ass model. 2. Clean up her kids' videos and start treating her audience responsibly. I also want YouTube to get Leigh Leigh off the trending page every day of the week, and out of the recommended feed of kids, so she stops growing this young audience even bigger. What I think you mean to say is, yup, you saw regulations headed this way, not, you were causing them and you wanted them. I don't want the government dictating procedures to YouTube. The FTC can barely wrap their heads around how the site works. Why would I want them to look at tools in our creator studio and dictating what goes in there? You guys are reaching. There's nothing hypocritical about this. Nicholas DeOrio responds to him by saying, NerdCity, I don't think we said you caused regulations in the stream as far as I'm aware. I think we are all well aware that they were coming eventually, and we agree with you that some form of regulation was bound to come to the platform. In the past, I cited your Jake Paul video as a potential reason why COPPA arrived as fast as it did, however. I have since walked that back. While it's true the parental groups putting pressure on the FTC and citing YouTube, there were no citations specifically to your video or an article that covered your video by then. So that's not even what we are covering here. Nobody is, or has ever, argued that you making a video is the root cause of regulation on YouTube. No one is or has ever argued that you are solely responsible for the regulation we do have. I'm saying you are poking the hornet's nest with a stick on regulations that don't, and may never, apply to the platform, and you have contradicted yourself in your reasoning for doing that. The next day, Tommy C continued to talk about the issue on his live stream, and during that live stream, NerdCity decided to call in and clarify some things. Here is what was said.
Part of the problem with Jake Paul and Leigh Leigh Pawn's content is that they put out so much of it that it's overwhelming, and it's also very difficult to listen to because it's very loud and annoying, and a parent might go like, oh, all right, this is for kids, and they leave the room. Trusting YouTube and Google to have correctly identified this as kids content.
I don't trust YouTube. That's great because I don't trust YouTube and Google for anything. I don't let other people raise my fucking kids. How much you think?
That the television or YouTube should be a babysitter, but the fact is, it is serving as a babysitter.
Then you're contradicting yourself right there. Then they're a babysitter. The babysitter, not a babysitter. And no, they're not for me.
if you are allowing your child to use YouTube as a babysitter, you should be aware that some of this content is probably going farther than you would expect. Okay, that's the point of my video.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to move on to the other thing.
Okay.
So, as far as me being anti-regulation, but also pro, let's call it the spirit of the regulation. Let's say you're a person who doesn't believe in concealed carry of guns or knives.
Sure,
okay?
I think I know where you're going with this.
You don't want people with knives and guns in their pockets that aren't registered and you can't see that they're there. You think that sucks, right? But you also don't want a policy where we all get stopped and frisked on the corner.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's not. If that is true, you have not articulated very well. You've basically said that you don't want these type.
Man, I do try to articulate these positions where I can. Like if I'm not as clear, like all right. I'm not trying to deplatform Leigh Leigh Pons or Jake Paul. The videos always stop short of saying anything like that. Even with Daddy of 5 and Tasha Mama.
You went through a list of laws that would put her in court and paying fines for the next 10 years.
No, that's not what that is. So that list is the FTC clarifying these. So that's their best attempt to identify what children's content is. There's no violations in that list. It's just that if Leigh Leigh is doing any of those things, she should consider her content children's content, and she's doing 100% of them. So what I'm saying is that Leigh Leigh,
and if she does 100% of them,
hang on one second.
Then what happens to her? Then what happens to her if she continues to do this?
So what happens to her is she ticks the box that says yes, this content is aimed at children, and that means that her ads turn off and her comments section shuts off, which is a shitty fucking implementation of COPA. I hate that, but Leigh Leigh needs to follow the rules just like us, and she's not labeling her content.
How could you hate COPA and then be so like? How do you hate COPA and are so, like when I hate something and a rule comes down and somebody breaks that rule, I'm just like, yeah. You're like, I hate this rule. You better follow it.
No. I don't hate COPA. I don't hate COPA. I hate the implementation so far on YouTube.
But it was guaranteed to happen.
I like the spirit of the law of protecting children from.
It was guaranteed to happen.
I totally support protecting children from.
I'm telling you right
completely.
now. You can't have it both. I don't think you can have it both ways.
I can, and I think I'm.
No. You can have it both ways. The history of government regulation says otherwise.
I know, which is why, like, at the very best, at the most hopeful, where we fucking pray that this has the effect, a commentary video can change the behavior of a bad actor on the system.
You sound like a communist that's saying it's going to work this time. I got to be honest.
No, it's self-regulation, man.
It does. It sounds like a no Scotsman fallacy. No true Scotsman fallacy. It's just like, oh, they'll get it right. No, they won't. I think by going to the news media, you're going to the government. It's just that,
by talking with journalists.
Yes.
So that's a completely separate thing. So
yes.
Journalism is continuing to attack YouTube and try to damage it because we're competing for the same.
And you gave them a weapon, and you handed them a nuclear weapon.
Begrudgingly, I talked to journalists.
Begrudgingly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you did it begrudgingly. You did it. You just admitted it.
We should be talking to journalists.
Oh, fuck that. Are you crazy? You don't think they're a bunch of agenda-driven whores? You're out of your mind. Oh, that's why I think you're crazy.
That's not a golden rule, Tommy, that we shouldn't talk to journalists. What that is a result of them being unfair to PewDiePie. So now nobody talks to journalists. And that means that they'll continue to attack us without getting our side of the story.
Nah, that's your appeasement.
If we talk to them,
this is appeasement.
We give them our side of the story.
This is an argument of appeasement. We fundamentally disagreed. I don't think they should be talked to. I honestly think things have gotten a lot better for Donald Trump since he stopped doing a daily press briefing. No, they're the enemies. They have an agenda. They literally, you're like, here's my nuclear. I'm giving you a nuclear weapon so you don't drop a nuclear weapon on where I live. That's what happened.
As much as fucking fuck Jake Paul forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Jake Paul getting a fucking record fine or, like getting hauled before Congress or getting arrested. Like that makes YouTube look like shit, like let's fix this on our own fucking
Yeah, but
terms.
you say that and you have that checklist in the video. I mean, it feels like I'm sorry. This is more of, you've really confirmed my feelings about you in this situation. It seems like you want it both ways.
Yeah,
and then you're going to lean on nuance when you're questioning on it.
I'm for the spirit of the law, dude. I'll admit that right now. That. So, do you think that's hypocritical to be for the spirit of the law?
I think it's incredibly naive. If you're being honest with me right now, and I've gone on record and said you have never been dishonest with me offline. All right, you are exceptionally naive.
Well, where you see naive, I see optimism. Okay, like I'm hoping that YouTube becomes the reinvention of the printing press and that self-publishing becomes as important as I think it is. Okay? And I think that people like Leigh Leigh Pons and Jake Paul are fucking that up for everybody. So that's part of what these videos are meant to indicate. And there's chance for YouTube and for them to make adjustments to their behavior before it becomes a legal issue, before there's a plaintiff.
After this live stream, we had a couple reactions on Twitter. The first one comes from Augie RFC, who says, NerdCity finds himself more in the crossfire from commentators every time he uploads. If he stuck to comedy and less about being a savior of YouTube, he would be fine. I like the first stuff better anyway. Nicholas Diorio responds to all of this by saying, shit's funny, man. Internet tough guy says, you'll never say that to my face. And that's whatever. Mutual friend mediators couldn't get this dude into a private call to tell me what he's gotta say on Discord. Man's writing tipster at 3 in the fucking morning because I wrote a mean tweet, laughing my fucking ass off. But brass balls come out to call every fucking dude I know a puppet on my fucking show when I'm at work. I talked about this the last 4 nights, nerd pussy. The channel T-Clips then posted this interview onto her channel and tweeted it out saying, talking to the media to get YouTube to listen, NerdCity and Tommy C. Clip. What could go wrong? To which NerdCity replies by saying, research the journalists who cover YouTube. If someone reaches out for a quote, I read their back catalog of articles. I have 2 Twitter lists to help me keep track of who is who. Some of them love YouTube clearly, and watch more of it than most YouTubers. Josh Pescator responds, I totally concur, and everyone knows I talk to journalists all the time. Just like YouTubers, there are good ones, and there are bad ones. That's why it's important to read the byline and know who you are reading, not just the name of the outlet. Nick then responds, this level of stupidity really makes me wonder which group will be the first to eat NerdCity alive. Will it be the mainstream media? Will it be YouTubers? Either way, one thing is certain, deleted videos by Leigh Leigh Pons are softcore statutory rape porn. Lol. NerdCity then responded, that's humor, Nick. Hyperbole for a joke and a jolt. Then it shows what she said. You are defending Leigh Leigh's children's content now? Galaxy brain? And that is it for the criticism against NerdCity so far. I definitely think some of it is valid, but I also see some of NerdCity's point. But as the saying goes, 2 heads are better than 1, or in this case, a couple thousand heads are better than 1, so I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below, so I can take it in and improve my own opinion on the situation. I will also be leaving a link in the pinned comment to a poll, so if you guys want to voice your opinion in a more anonymous way, you can do it through there. If you want to keep up with this situation as it evolves, or see any other drama that goes on in the community, be sure to subscribe with notifications on as I upload very frequently. Also follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with things even faster. Thank you so much to my channel members for supporting the channel, I appreciate it a lot, and with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.